Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of October 18th, 2015. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This week, in some ways, in many ways, it really is all about Pluto. So Pluto is the most active planet in the sky, and you add to this, the sun will move into the sign of Scorpio. So happy birthday to all the Scorpios out there. But it will be this week that the sun moves into the sign that is ruled by Pluto as well. And so in many ways, this is going to be a week where on one hand, things are going to feel consequential, much more meaningful, or we're readily able to grasp the deeper meaning of events that are taking place, but also in some ways will make us aware of where it is that we truly desire change. And that's not always as obvious as it seems, right? It's not necessarily that change means you have to do something different in your life, but sometimes change does mean, and especially with Pluto, I gotta say, change has to do with acceptance. Pluto is a very strong energy that ultimately is meant to teach us to surrender, to understand where it is that we do have power, we do have control, that we can focus our energy, but it asks us to do so in a way that is truly honest to ourselves. It asks us to do so in a way that feels, or that is ultimately honoring a slow but certain rebirth, if you will, that all of us go through over the course of a life. Some people go through many rebirths over the course of a lifetime, but this really is that energy that asks us to transform, to focus on what matters, to surrender what you don't have control over as well, and to see through the superfluous, see through the superficial to the core of an issue. So one of the first conversations that Pluto is having is with Mercury. Now, this type of conversation is a conversation of tension, what astrologers call a square. And it is during this type of conversation that sometimes we don't always see things that clearly, okay? So I do want to just put this out there. And what I mean by that is this can be a really interesting time. And keep in mind, this is part of a dance that Mercury has been doing with Pluto over the last several weeks, as Mercury was in shadow and then retrograde, and now in its last week of shadow. We'll leave shadow next week. But while Mercury's been doing this dance, has been speaking with Pluto, has been speaking with Uranus as well, sort of activating a conversation that they were having between 2012 and earlier this year, what I was calling a generation-defining conversation between Pluto and Uranus. So here comes Mercury now, getting us to check in on ourselves, getting us to ask ourselves if we have utilized that energy well into our advantage. Once we move forward from here, particularly once we move into 2016, this conversation that Uranus and Pluto have been having, even though there's now some space, that space, or what astrologers call an orb, that space will increase more and more, which means that the precision of that conversation and the way that we feel it, how immediately we feel it, will be less and less evident. It'll feel less and less urgent. However, this conversation is still going to be activated, and especially now, and especially we see this with this Mercury shadow and then retrograde, and now towards the end of shadow. So this week Mercury is speaking with Pluto. Next week we'll speak with Uranus and then leave shadow. So this conversation ultimately is, on the one hand, saying check your perspectives, you know, make sure you're not seeing things from a skewed perspective, okay? Make sure you're not seeing something that isn't really there, because ultimately what it is that you are perceiving, and so much of what we perceive, is ultimately based on our own set of values, our own fears, our own hopes. All of that comes into play. And our beliefs about what is possible for us, all of that comes into play whenever we are perceiving just about anything, whenever we are interacting with the world, whether that world is online, whether it is in person as well. Now, what you do want to watch though with this is Yes, it is possible to be perceiving things that aren't really there. Someone seems to be insulting you, but they're really not. But also with this, words can really be hurtful with this as well. And that might not be the intention behind any words that are exchanged right about now. And so it is important for all of us, I think. And it is these moments that remind us to be mindful of what it is that we're saying and what it is that we are communicating to other people. You know, I'm reminded of, and this was Maya Angelou, for some reason I've really been like inspired by her more as of late, but Maya Angelou, she has a quote where she says, and I'm paraphrasing here, that people might not necessarily remember what you did or what you said, but they'll remember how it is that you made them feel. And that's what this conversation is really about. Whatever does happen, any words that are exchanged, whatever you perceived is likely to stay with you and stay with others as well. And so you want to be mindful that you are utilizing those moments in a way that ultimately leave people feeling better. And even the best of intentions, sometimes you may have that intention, but at the same time, ultimately people are going to perceive what is in alignment with their lessons. And so while, yes, of course, be mindful of your own communications. If there is, you know, if there's something that seems very pressing, you know, something that seems to be bugging you and you feel like you gotta say something about it, I would invite you to take a breath or two because what we also have happening this week is Venus speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto as well. So Venus is speaking in supreme harmony. This happens about 2 times a year or so when these two planets speak this way. And it is a time where love is solidified, is made stronger, and can really change you. And this is, yes, romantic love. It can also be more lifted. It can be platonic love. It can be a love of humanity, a love of your work. But this can also be some very solid financial gains for some people out there as well. So my invitation would be more consciously to tap into that energy, strive to come from that place of just acceptance, surrender, love, understanding where your work is and where it's not about somebody else. But sometimes, yeah, it is about somebody else. So take that moment, and then if it feels right, if you know that this is part of your learning, that you've got to say something and it resonates as right with you, then you will better choose your words and make sure that they have the type of impact that you are hoping for. So yes, passionate words may arise, but you want to express them in a way that allows true change to take place, that allows true transformation to be possible. Now that might be transformation for you, right? If you're one of those people, one of your learning, and this is not uncommon, but all of us, I think, or a lot of us, go through the lesson where we sort of start to understand at a certain age, sometimes sooner, sometimes later, that we are the ones who are to take care of ourselves. We are the ones who are to speak up for ourselves and to say what it is that is acceptable and what it is that is not. The key is to do so in a way that allows you to also respect yourself, and to do so in the right channels, right? To do so in a way that is direct to the source, that is in ways that ultimately allow you to feel a sense of respect for yourself, that you're not instead like sort of getting mad at the person at the coffee shop because your coffee isn't as hot as you like it, but you're actually going and having that conversation with your boss. That's way more scary, okay? But that is one way that sometimes people can misdirect their energy. So just be mindful of that. And again, people will remember, and especially when Pluto's involved like this, how it is that you made them feel. So it's one thing to speak your truth, and another person having that invitation, it's up to them, but having that invitation to reflect on it, to change because of it. And it's one thing also to speak your truth, knowing that you did something truly healing for yourself. And it's another thing to just be, sort of be frustrated or be upset or not very nice. Own your emotions, own your feelings, figure out where it is that the true source of it lies, and then find the right words that you feel will actually have a positive impact, that will change things for you positively, and not necessarily be words that are going to hurt people in any kind of way. So that's what you want to avoid. Tap into that Venus trine Pluto. So more about Venus trine Pluto. This particular conversation I am very excited about because to me this really is a lot of passion. You know, as I said, this is commitments being more deeply solidified, feeling so much passion and a real sense of like almost like a soul contract, if you will, that is harmonious, where you see the benefit of having this other person in your life. Now, a lot of us are going to be experiencing this in the realm of romance, but some platonic relationships, platonic friendships, and some also with and in terms of money as well. So if it is the situation that you are in a situation that you know has served its purpose in your life, this gives you the opportunity to easily release that situation, to say, okay, you know, thank you, it was great, that was a really nice 20 years, thank you, but yeah, let's grow up and let's move forward and move separate. That could happen for some people out there, but for other people out there, this could be a deepening of a commitment and a deeper mutual understanding between the two of you as well. So matters of love, matters of heart, and especially a very embodied kind of love. This conversation is happening in earth signs. So there's a real element here of being smart about the passion, being smart about the ideas, being smart and practical, especially about the financial ideas that you are putting into place now as well. They will have that very powerful impact. So use this time well to plan well what it is that you desire to put into place to create greater prosperity for yourself or create greater love for yourself in an established relationship or in something new. And it is through that that you will come up with a solid way forward that leads you in a really positive direction, leads you towards a solid sense of change, and even in some cases moves you towards greater wealth as well. Well, thank you so much for watching the introduction. I'm truly so grateful for this moment with you. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and a thumbs up as well. I really do appreciate that so much. I love interacting with you guys on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, nadiyashah.com, and the YouTube comments as well. I really love your ideas. You guys inspire me, you encourage me, and I thank you so much for that. Sometimes I'm asked questions that are a little bit more personal, and for that, please consider a personalized horoscope where I can do just that. Look at your unique birth chart and consider your unique situation and give you answers that are uniquely for you. The personalized horoscopes now have 3 new areas of focus: love and luck, money and luck, and also life purpose. Yeah, so lots of people are really liking those new areas of focus, and I thank you so much for your trust. As I began to share a little bit last week, I do want to say I am so grateful for your trust. You guys are so awesome, and I thank you so much. If you know that you want your reading by Christmas Eve, a gift to yourself or to somebody else, I will invite you to place your order this month. And so if you place your order by Halloween, okay, if you place your order by the end of the month, then you will get that order if you order the regular priced horoscope. So that's sort of the lower priced horoscope that is available, the lower priced personalized horoscope that is available. If cost is an issue for you and you want that lower price and you want it by Christmas Eve, please do place your order by Halloween. Between November 1st and November 10th, any orders placed at that time that are regular orders, again at the lower price, will be delivered by New Year's Eve. okay? And then after that, on the 11th of November is a new moon. So after that, I will pause the regular orders, and for a little while, hoping that the rush orders and the deluxe orders are still going to be available on my website. But really, I'm hoping November 11th is a new moon that I'm really excited about. I've spoken about in the monthly horoscopes for November, which actually I'm hoping should be up by the end of this week or the very early part of next week. So I'm really excited to get those out to you early. But there is this new moon that is happening on the 11th of November, and students of astrology out there, I will say that this new moon is conjunct my North Node. So when that happens, what that means is the universe makes it pretty clear what direction it is that you are meant to go, what direction it is that you're meant to travel. And especially in alignment with sort of a higher intention for your life, and as part of fulfilling the things that you desire to do with this lifetime. So when you've got Mercury conjunct a new moon right on top of your North Node, it's a good time to pay attention. And so I am trying to pay attention and trying to put some things into place. Let's see how it comes together. The universe will make it very clear to me in the next 4 weeks. But my hope is, my genuine hope is that November 11th, I'm able to present some new things to you that I'm really excited about. So again, let's see how the coming 4 weeks go, and then that will be the presentation. And then again, in the new year, because I'm pausing the regular orders that otherwise I would be doing in January we have, and in December actually, we have this Mercury retrograde happening, and I'll be here to talk about it then. But I'm going to be using that time to sort of solidify some other things I'm hoping to launch at the beginning of March. So lots of plans, lots of exciting plans ahead, and I'm so grateful for your viewership and again for your trust. It means so much to me. I know that it is a privilege to look at your chart, and I know that it is a privilege to have this moment with you as well. As you know, I really do believe that the universe is wise and loving, and that is my mission, to affirm that in the world. The universe is wise and loving. And as part of that mission, I hope, and my intention is with this video, that you're watching right now online, that in some way it infuses your life with some inspiration, some hope, and ultimately a reminder of this very dearly held belief that I do have, that the universe is wise and loving. Well, thank you so much for watching all this personal conversation that we've been having. It's pretty awesome. I like it. I like the connection I have with you. And again, reach out to me online. I love interacting with you guys. And finally, I will be in Mexico City this week and next week as well. What's taking me there is the Internationally Astrology Conference. It's a Spanish language astrology conference. Lots of brilliant astrologers teaching some really valuable lessons. And you know, if you're a student of astrology, the lessons never end. You're constantly learning. One lifetime is not enough. So if you're a student of astrology and you can make it out there, it would be amazing to meet you. Please do come up and say hello. I love meeting friends and fans. On the 27th of this month in the afternoon, I have a limited number of consultations that I will be doing. So there'll be a little bit of space to see a few people. And if you are one of those people who is in the area of Mexico City and who would like a in-person consultation with me, please do reach out via the contact form on my website and we can make that happen. So how all this wonderful stuff speaks to you and your sign that's taking place this week, celestially this week, is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. This week we have got Pluto speaking with Mercury, speaking with Venus as well. You know, I actually think that this Venus, a very active Venus right now, this week and next week, is speaking to and asking you to pay attention and watch what it is that is taking place, especially in the realm of the workplace. And in the realm of making money, how you're making money. So all the fire signs out there are going to be experiencing this mesh or melding, or at least the invitation of so, with their money and their work. So for you specifically, we have Venus moving through a part of the sky for you that has to do with the work environment, the workplace. If you're self-employed, with the clients it is that you attract into your life. And then we've got Pluto at the very top of your chart, speaking to your higher goals and the big things that you desire to achieve in this lifetime. And so you put that together, and also that part of the sky also has to do with bosses, higher ups, people in positions of authority as well, and interview situations. I look at this, and this could be some flirting happening with a boss. So be mindful of that, like make sure that's conscious. Because it does also look like we have Mercury in your opposite sign also speaking with Pluto. So that does suggest that, you know, my suggestion would be, whatever it is that you decide to do and how you enjoy your day in the workplace, that's about to feel like a more friendly environment, and that's awesome. But just know that if you are in a relationship, and especially in a committed relationship, with Mercury speaking with Pluto, it's like other people like passing on messages, or other people kind of getting involved. And so you want to make sure that you are strengthening that bond that you do have, and also being mindful about how it is. It might just be very innocent to you, friendly to you, or it might be just innocent and friendly to somebody else, but it is possible that the other person might not take it that way, or one of the two might not take it that way. So be mindful of that. So that is a more romantic way that this energy may manifest, a melding of work and love. This energy can also manifest by you really bringing forward your best, bringing love to what it is that you're doing, and understanding how what it is that you're doing is actually helping you to achieve bigger and bigger things, helping you to achieve and live a life that feels more and more rewarding as well. So all of that is playing out under this sky. I do also think where it comes to your work and the workplace, while it is getting more friendly, while the universe is asking you to bring more love to what it is that you're doing, this can be a really positive time of change as well. So if you are looking for that clarity, and especially if you're one of those people who says, you know, what am I meant to do? What's my purpose? Pay attention to this week, because I do think that there may be a conversation that you have, some advice you get that doesn't quite hit the mark, but ultimately leads you to get a little bit more honest with yourself, to get you considering what is it that is going to be truly rewarding for you, and encouraging you to make changes from that place as well. So overall, it is a week for all of us of some important changes. And for you in particular, important changes happening in terms of the work you're doing and how you feel about it with your coworkers as well. And an important week all around for you to decide on the role that love is going to play and that trust is going to play in the love that you have, or where it is that in the past there might have been love, there might have been situation, opportunities that worked or didn't work. And this is going to be you being able to say, okay, yeah, maybe some stuff didn't work out, but knowing that there's love in the world for you, knowing that, having hope of that, having that affirmed to you in some way this week as well. Hello, fabulous Taurus. This week, we have got all this earth, beautiful earth energy happening between Venus and Pluto, both in fellow earth signs like yours. This really does sort of put you in a prime position, if you will. If you were born right around the 7th of the month, so right around the 7th of the month, you know, give it about 3 days on either side of that, you will feel this energy, this very harmonious energy between Pluto and Venus more than some others might, but still you will, and all Taurians out there will benefit in some way from this energy, because ultimately what this energy does is invites us to consider where your happiness really is, where it is that you get a personal sense of satisfaction, and where it is that you're really feeling like that passion that you have for whatever it is that you do, or wherever it is that you know your joy is, how that fits into really allowing a vision to come forward and really putting things into place for bigger successes ahead. That actually is going to be a big theme playing out for you this week. It is really a week where you're sort of not just getting ducks in a row, but really refining a vision or refining your plan to go forward. Now, for some of you, this is going to be work related, especially if your work is something that you are passionate about. For others of you, it might not necessarily be related to work. It might be related to children. It might be related to you rethinking your previous choices where it comes to children as well. Like if you thought you didn't want them, this might be a time that you think you might. If you always thought you did want them, that could be an option. This is a time when you get more clear about whether or not that is something that you want for yourself. So this can be a really powerful week in some ways where you really have that self-love deeply embedded to really understand what it is that you most desire to bring to fruition. What it is professionally and personally in love and in your life, what it is that you desire to create and give your creative energy to. Where it comes to love, this is a very romantic energy playing out between Venus, your ruling planet, in a very romantic part of the sky for you. This romance is only going to amplify as we head late into the week and into next week as well. Of course, I'll be here to talk about it then. But this is really great energy if you are open to meeting somebody new, or you are also dating somebody, like getting to know somebody. So I do remember, like, I think it was earlier this month, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was earlier this month. I said to you, don't let a friend hook you up with anybody. Don't go on a blind date this week. This week is the time to let somebody hook you up. Whoever it is. If someone comes up to you and says, you know, I think that you should meet that person, this is the time to say, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's make that happen. Because this is where you've got that cosmic support on your side to have a moment that feels truly meaningful, truly transformative as well. To have a moment that really has the potential for something very powerful and very solid, not only on the sense of your heart, but also for your life as well, and for the future as well. Those of you in an established bond, I think the energy is going to be a lot more about enjoying each other, understanding that that has got to be a part of what is it that's keeping you with this person. So there's this real promise, a real sense now that the two of you are participating in something big, whether it is the relationship that you share, whether it is a project that the two of you are doing together. There is this sense that good things are happening and good things are being made stronger, particularly on levels of heart. Hello, fabulous Gemini. This week we've got Mercury having an interesting conversation with Pluto. Mercury being your ruling planet, gearing up to end shadow as well. So Mercury right now is in a part of the sky for you that has to do with romance, and especially new romance. It has to do with sort of the feelings of life, if you will, right? So there's different ways that that happens. Love, flirtation is one very clear way that we are reminded that we have emotions, and there's this creative, very powerful energy running through us, especially when it's inspired by someone that we are drawn to, someone that we are inspired by, we're having some feelings for, that the butterflies in the stomach, if you will. But also this creation energy manifests in different ways as well, besides just romance. But here's the thing, we have got Mercury in a romantic part of the sky speaking with Pluto. Now Pluto right now is in a part of the sky for you that has to do with, among other things, it has to do with secrets that you may consciously keep. So it's like, you know that you're holding this. Also has to do with money as well, and especially where it comes to sharing money as well. So if you put that together, and especially the type of conversation these planets are having, it does suggest a learning opportunity showing up for you. I often say, when I see a conversation like this, and especially because you're a Gemini and you like to talk, right? That's the way to your heart. Someone who can talk to you like a best friend, someone who can be a best friend for you will have and does have your heart. And this can be romantic, but this can also be in terms of friends as well, in terms of family as well. Just be mindful, there's going to be a little bit of a temptation this week to sort of spill your guts about something that maybe will not have the type of reaction that you want it to have. So, you know, people know I really like to say, if you've been watching me for a while, from time to time, I do like to say, that person that you're on a first or second or third or fourth date with, that person is not your therapist. That person is not somebody who's there for you to jump into emotional intimacy when you're just sort of getting to know this person on more surface levels. So be mindful of that. That will be the tendency for a few out there. And I actually think that this can also be a time, this particular conversation can also be sort of an attraction or a flirtation leading to some type of a Freudian slip, or leading to some type of behavior on your part that surprises you, that makes you go, oh, okay, that's how I really feel. That's what's really going on. So there's this part of you that you will become more aware of in terms of what it is that you believe about another person. Now, this could also be, I gotta say, sometimes those Freudian slips are a great blessing, because it isn't just about what it is that you're feeling, but sometimes those Freudian slips are sort of telling you what's really going on here. That's telling you which way this thing could end up going, right? So if you're on a date and you end up, like, you know, accidentally saying to somebody, oh my God, you are awful, and you surprise yourself by saying that when you meant to say you're awesome, and instead you say you're awful, well, that might actually be sort of an intuitive, universal type of symbol, or like sort of a subconscious symbol on your part playing out, that is letting you know what it is that's really going on here, what this experience might actually be for you. So it is worth it to pay attention to how it is that you're speaking, how it is that you're communicating, and importantly, what it is that you are communicating as well. Where the real advantage is this week, and if you really feel like you need to talk to somebody, family members, especially family of origin. Those are the people that you want to talk to. If your parents are still with us, if one of your parents is still with us, good people to talk to right about now, even grandparents as well. These are going to be people who will give you that acceptance, will give you that perspective that changes things, and will allow you a sense of that emotional intimacy that a part of you is going to be wanting this week as well. So if you are flirting, you're open to meeting somebody new, or you're just getting to know somebody, it is going to be that Mercury-Pluto conversation that's going to be dominant. But if you are in an established bond, and especially if it's a bond that you've been in for a really long time, there actually could be that support there to make it okay, to give you that other perspective. But also, if you're in an established bond, I actually think the energy at play this week could end up playing out in terms of money. And particularly if you have children with someone, whether or not you're with that person, you know, what to spend, how to spend it, the right way to go about it, that may be an area of some negotiation. That may be an area that actually needs to be discussed and fleshed out, and you guys will have to come to an agreement on that. So that might be the case for a few of you out there, but for most of you, I do think, again, if you have that stable sense of home, home really is going to be your power center on levels of heart, but also on levels that have to do with really understanding yourself, understanding a sense of prosperity, and understanding how love is actually a great form of prosperity as well. Hello, fabulous Cancer. This week we have got Pluto in your opposite sign very active, right? Speaking with Venus, speaking with Mercury as well. So with this particular conversation, I'm going to start with Mercury and Pluto, okay? To me, this speaks to and suggests there is sort of a sacred space, right, that you create with another person if you are in an established bond. So if you're in an established bond, there's sort of this space that you create with another person, a space that allows you to feel like you are protecting that bond in healthy ways, right? That you are getting to know this person, or that you are with this person for a really long time, especially for those of you in a committed relationship. There's a need this week to really make sure that that circle is strong between the two of you, because it might be that matters of family, particularly families of origin, or matters of home and house, maybe areas that lead to having to find a solution together, and negotiation, and asking each other some tough questions as well. So the key really is to be clear about the intention that the two of you share, and the only way that that's really going to happen is through conversation. So whether this is a love partnership, a marriage, or a business partnership as well, make sure that you're protecting it, at least for this week. Sometimes families can be awesome. Sometimes families really help to support the bond that people have, and that's so great. Those are really great moments. But sometimes, whether intentional or not, right? Sometimes it can be that some people maybe are speaking about things that ultimately should not be entering that circle, okay? So I think that the two of you need to make a conscious intention to ensure that there is that connection between you two, and that the opinions of others, especially opinions of any family members, don't influence what it is that is happening between the two of you. Now, this can also play out in matters of home, okay? So matters of house. So it might be changes that you want to make, or a move that you want to make, that in some way you've got to figure out how to make it work with your partner. Your partner might have very different feelings about it. Your partner might not necessarily want to make that move as well. So talk from the heart. That really is going to be key now. Speak from the heart, speak honestly, and also come to that level of agreement through speaking, because it is by choosing words correctly and maintaining a sense of mutual respect that ultimately you can ground yourself in, so that any changes that need to happen, whether it's an outright move or whether it is just changing things up a little bit, all of this is going to be an opportunity for you. All of this is going to be on offer for you to learn from, to consider, and ultimately to lead you to a greater understanding as well, with at least one key person in your life. I also want to say this week also, if you're looking to buy or sell, this could be a time when you're talked into something that may not actually be what it is that you're going for. So just be mindful of that as well. It looks like for a few Cancerians out there, it's like there's this pressure to move or pressure to change homes. And as a result, you may be getting some advice that really misses the mark, isn't really what it is that you need to hear, or that something is being presented to you in terms of moving or changing the space that you live in, or going to a new space, that you're going to have to be mindful of, that you're going to have to watch as well. If you are, so that's really about committed relationships, and that's more general, having to do with areas of home as well. But if you are open to meeting somebody new, this is a really good time to be going online to do that, to make that connection happen for yourself. This is a time when a really genuine, like sort of me too, oh yeah, me too, like that type of connection actually can manifest for you this week. So whether it's officially on a dating site or not, right? Or whether you're just, talking to people and hoping to meet somebody new, this can be a time when a lot of things come together very nicely on levels of the heart, all begun by initiating a conversation. Hello, fabulous Leo. This week we have got this harmonious conversation, supremely harmonious conversation happening between Venus and Pluto. And I'm telling all the fire signs out there, this is going to benefit you most in areas of work and money and career. But for you in particular, the money part is more emphasized. So each fire sign is going to have one particular area stronger than another, but still related to the work and financial progress that you're making. For you, it's all about the money. And this week, some really good things start to set into motion that will continue to grow and pay off even better next week as well. Of course, I'll be here to talk about it then. But I will say for this week, you have got such a strong promise and such a strong potential for actually having an opportunity, an offer, a moment that you just seize that will lead to greater prosperity. So if you are like in a workplace and you work with other people around you, this is going to be a chance to really grab hold of a project or really show something of your stuff and show your value that will lead to greater prosperity. Now, sometimes that value really needs to be shown to yourself so that you see that, you know what, actually, yeah, I am bringing a lot to the table. I'm contributing a lot to this organization. The work I'm doing is having an impact. These are the types of feelings, but it's not just about having the impact in the work, but having it benefit you financially as well is an important part of this picture. This also can speak to, and again, all the fire signs out there, you want to be mindful. Work might be a flirty place right about now. You in particular really have to be mindful of that, because this is a time to, at least like in terms of, again, sharing too much, right? Mercury speaking with Pluto in this way. I think a lot of people out there from different signs, more strongly than others, are going to be at risk of sharing too much, saying something that maybe isn't leading to the effect that you desire it to. So the best strategy with this is just let the work speak for itself, and instead of trying to convince anyone of anything or trying to talk anything out or even sharing anything too personal, a way better bet for you is to root it in the value that you are bringing to this environment, root it in the joy of creating prosperity for yourself. And that really will be that thing that allows you to make progress more and more as you move forward. So that's the energy that you really want to maximize now, and that is the promise. If you focus in on your prosperity, everything else will fall into place. Matters of heart will fall into place as well. Whether you are open to meeting somebody new or dating somebody, or you are in an established bond, it is this higher sense of what you are worth that ultimately will contribute to an improved sense of circumstances where it comes to your romantic possibilities. So allow it in some ways to be about the work, and strive to be professional, of course polite and nice, but professional. And even if you have like somebody who's like your best friend at work, somebody that you really share a lot with at work, this is the week to just put that to the side and focus instead on doing really great work together. And that will ensure that whatever it is that you're feeling that you need to share will not even matter. It's like it'll resolve itself, and you don't need to give it any more energy. There are other spaces that you can talk things out if you need to, but not the workplace this week. What I do also really like about this week playing out for you is that increasingly the sun is moving into the very bottom of your sky. So there is increasingly going to be a sense of inner acceptance, a sense of inner stability, a real sense of comfort within yourself, and creating a space of comfort within your home as well. In fact, starting now and for the coming month, there will be a real sense of creating a sanctuary that really does restore you to power, enhance your creativity, and give you all kinds of amazing ideas that you can utilize and capitalize on to create positive circumstances in just about any area of life. Hello, fabulous Virgo. Well, of all the zodiac, with all the different things happening in the sky this week, I do think that for you, it is just going to feel more peachy than it would otherwise for perhaps some other people in the zodiac. And this is largely because of Venus being in your sign. So yes, Venus is going to have a conversation, a supremely harmonious conversation with Pluto. And then as you're approaching the end of the week and into the next week, Venus will make her final meeting in the sky, the final conjunction with Jupiter. So I'll be here to talk about it then for next week, but I will say this is when a lot of things are going to culminate for you. A lot of things are going to be clearer, and it really is going to feel like life is on your side. And wonderful turnarounds are possible, or steps forward, leaps forward are possible, especially where it comes to the lessons that were taking place for you over the course of the summer with this lovely Venus retrograde season that we were going through. So really, there was Venus retrograde season, and now this progresses that and all that learning and all those lessons and brings it all together for you to help you to really understand what the deeper significance, the meaning of it all was for you, but also to really help you to ultimately feel, yes, life is on your side, good things can happen, beautiful things, romantic things, financially prosperous things, all of that. So that's what we're leading towards, and again, I'll talk a lot more about that next week. However, with this week, this starts the process. With this week, you want to pay attention to the conversations you're having. What kind of messages are you getting? And what I mean by that is, where is it that life is saying to you, this is the way to go. This will make you happy. Now, I'll give you an example. Sometimes life makes it really clear where it is that you're meant to go when a new job falls into your lap and it resonates with you and it excites you. That is the universe making very clear, yeah, this is the way to go. Sometimes it isn't that it's our choice, right? That happens sometimes. You know, I like to say that if you have to leave a place of employment, not by your choosing, then you are not meant to be there. And it really does mean that there's something else there for you. And then that's when faith really has to kick in. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be the issue, but what I am saying is that life will now start to point the way to where it is that you can feel stronger, better, more prosperous, and experience more love as well. What is it that needs to change within you? And it may actually be a very innocent flirtation that ends up creating a very powerful and lasting impact at that. So there is that romantic element, yes, a flirtation, or if you're just dating somebody and having a moment that just makes you see yourself and your potential and all that could be so differently and wonderfully, that's awesome. For others of you, it'll be more of a personal understanding, or it might be an understanding that is facilitated by a child, if you have a child. For those of you in an established bond, there's almost like this feeling with this that we're going to be okay. You know, we're now here for each other. We are together. A real sense of connection and a deepening of the bond. The emotional part of that bond feels that much more deeper. Now, what you do want to watch, though, is we do have Mercury right now. Mercury's been going back and forth in a part of the sky for you that has to do with money, right? It has to do with spending money and making money, sort of the in and out, the regular flow that we all are a part of, that we all experience. So if, with this particular Mercury, speaking with Pluto as well, there are a couple of ways that this could play out, okay? So just be mindful of that. This could be a child or expense if you have a child, an expense showing up in that regard. This could also be love needing your money in some way. So whether it's your love or your, you know, I recently shared my brother got married, and so yeah, that costs money, right? Something like that. So it might be related to a child. It might not be. It might be that there's something you really want to do, something that seems really fun. You're wondering if you can make the money work. Or it might also be that there's this desire to bring in more income, and you're trying to figure out your way and how it is that you're going to make that happen, ultimately in a way that still allows you to feel that you're not doing something completely alien or that doesn't feel natural to you. So these are going to be part of the questions that may arise for you, but they really are temporary. What I really do like, as I said, you are really heading in a very good direction where it comes to you understanding that you are the source of your prosperity. You are your lottery ticket. You know, as I like to say, we all have that lottery ticket in some way or another. And if we're lucky enough, we sort of have the opportunities, we find ourselves in the circumstances that allow us to really maximize whatever that is. But ultimately what I mean by that is all of us in some way have something that gives life greater meaning and that allows for a feeling of prosperity, and yes, in practical terms as well, practical prosperity as well. So make sure you stay connected to that energy, because that energy is only going to grow. And the energy that has to do with a little bit of question or uncertainty around a financial situation is not going to last nearly as long as the really wonderful things that now are trying to find you. Wonderful things on a level of heart, on a level of love, but also wonderful things in terms of how it is that you can make your life feel more prosperous, more joyful, and filled with more beauty. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week we've got Mercury in your sign, speaking with Pluto, your ruling planet though, speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto. So I look at this does suggest to me that there's something in you, there's a faith in you, or it might even be just other people that you're not aware of, people talking fondly about you, people very much on your side without your awareness. But it looks like there is that support there. There is a sense that, and the real possibility this week that you know that things are going to be all right. You know that things are going to be okay. That is happening with you on an energetic level. So be mindful, because on a more immediate level, right, it's going to be very easy possibly to get caught up in a particular circumstance. Now, the circumstance might be related to matters of home, to matters of family of origin. And it's, you know, like, of course, I'm always going to be honest with you. And I know, because a lot of people order personalized horoscopes, a lot of people share their lives with me, and I'm so grateful for that. Send me letters telling me about their experience. And I know that sometimes things cannot necessarily always be smooth, especially in terms of family matters or home-related matters as well. But the thing that you want to stay connected to is that knowing that everything is going to be okay, because it really is. There is a lot of support there indicated, and it does suggest that in some key ways, you know, watch the information you're getting, because it looks like information might find you, a conversation might lead you to worry, might lead to concern. But the actuality of the situation that you might not be aware of is that everything's going to be okay, that the situation is a lot more strong and a lot more stable than you realize as well. So this could be related, as I said, family of origin. It could be related if someone in your family of origin needs to go to the hospital. Yes, there may be some concern, but there's just such wonderful support playing out there that it looks like it will work out very well. It will work out in a way that not only will give you faith and give you comfort, but will help you to understand that there is, you know, again, it's not about faith, it's not about comfort, but it's just about information and tech talk and intellect and fears. You can get caught up in them if you let it. But then that's the thing with Pluto, right? Pluto is surrender. Pluto is, yes, sometimes focus. When positively aspected, it is about harnessing your power and deciding what's important and going in that direction. But when Pluto is having conversations that maybe aren't as easy, it is, and the lesson is to turn it over, to understand that as much as we have power to move our lives in the direction we desire to go, at the same time, life can have plans of its own. And sometimes on the surface, it doesn't feel good, or it might feel challenging. Finding that right balance really is going to be your ticket. But the bottom line is that information might come in, too many details might come in. Again, it might be related to real estate, it might be just related to your home. All this information might come in and lead to stress and lead to worry, but that would really not serve you well, and that actually might end up being a little bit unnecessary, because the reality of the situation is that it is a lot more stronger and a lot more stable than you realize, then you're being told, then a conversation is leading you to believe. So find strength in that. It's like a part of you knows that you can feel it, like you know it. And so trust that instead of all the words and stuff that's coming at you. Also this week, with that very harmonious conversation with your ruling planet and Pluto, I also think, I look at that, that does suggest, yeah, there's a bit of there's a very romantic vibe with that. And this does suggest that this is, to me, very like secret admirer energy, okay? So it may not necessarily be fully conscious yet. You might not even be aware of it yet. But this, to me, does suggest if you're open to meeting somebody new, or if you're getting to know somebody, there is fondness for you. There is love available to you. You've got to give it a little bit of time to more fully come to fruition, but it is there, and in some way you are going to have that affirmed. You're going to have that knowing, whether it's direct or not. But for some of you, yeah, I think it's going to be like getting a very sweet, I've been your admirer for a really long time. You know, I've been watching you across the cubicles and all that kind of stuff. So very much on offer where it comes to love. If you are in an established bond, this is where love and home create a really safe space, a sacred space. This is where really there's this ability for you to bring forward emotion and to be more clear on what's happening on a level of heart than you might otherwise. Be open, right? Always be open to what it is that life is trying to show you and where it is that life is trying to move you. It really is towards a greater sense of ease, a greater sense of comfort, and a greater sense of stability in matters of heart and matters of home as well. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. Well, first of all, birthday month starts for you, so happy birthday to all the Scorpios out there. This is fabulous, okay? So I love birthdays personally. I think it's wonderful to be reminded that you're here right now and you're incarnated, and also to be reminded that in some ways you grow more and more fabulous. And I think that is actually going to be a big part of the reminder that is taking place for you now. There's a very friendly energy playing out for you, okay? So this has to do with socializing, talking, meeting people. And this is happening when you get together with friends. This is happening in social occasions. This is happening with your neighbors, possibly also happening with siblings or cousins, happening as you're running around doing your errands. This is very much right place at the right time kind of energy that really can lead to a very romantic moment. So there's a surprise element to this for you in particular that might not necessarily be there for some others out there. So for other people out there, this harmony between Pluto and Venus, you might feel it coming, but for your sign, it's a much more surprising quality that might bring out this awareness of the love that is available to you. So there's a romantic element to that, and then a platonic element to that as well. And then there's a joy element and a prosperity element to that as well. So my advice really would be, when I see that, is the importance of staying busy, okay? Stay busy, be out and about. The only thing you want to be mindful of, Mercury is in the sign just before yours, speaking to your neighbors as well. Just be a little bit mindful of not being mindful of your words, really is what this comes down to. I think that there is that little possibility that of all the signs, as I spoke of in the introduction, this can suggest saying something, and it might be completely innocent on your part, and you might even mean it in a positive way, but it ends up being something that another person might perceive as hurtful. And so this is especially there for you. So be mindful of that you may end up saying something and you don't realize that that person is interpreting it a certain way. Just to be mindful of the different ways that words can be interpreted goes a really long way towards really understanding other people. And especially when it's written, especially when it's a text or a message that you're sending. I remember when I was an undergrad, and I wish I remembered the person who wrote this because I would love to cite it. And there's this whole like philosophical theory, and some very noted people whose names I don't remember, but I thank them, the academic ancestors, have written, and there's this whole school about how it is that when you observe a work of art, when you read something, no matter how technical or whatever, you are actually interacting with that written word. You are interacting with that art, that technical manual, that creative piece, that poem, that novel. You are bringing yourself to it, and you are interpreting it in alignment with all you bring, all your experiences that you bring to that moment, and how you have interpreted experiences up until that moment. And so it's actually a relationship that takes place. It's not like you are passive and you're reading and receiving information, but there is a relationship that you are having with anything that you read. And we see this a lot with text messages, right? A lot of times text messages go out. I know there are a lot of comedians who've also pointed this out. Text messages can be interpreted lots of different ways. One person is sending it thinking that, oh, this is so great, this is so fun, this is all love. And the other person is thinking that this person is being mean, is being insulting. So you have to watch that this particular week, because that is something that you want to avoid. You are a sensitive soul, you are a deeply intuitive soul. So if you just take that one little brief moment, you will find the right words to say. What I also do like, though, about what is happening this week is that there is an ease of sweetness that you're able to bring forward. There is an ease of which you're able to ask for something and get it. So make sure you make that ask in matters of friendship, in matters of love, but in matters of money as well. You've got lots of cosmic support to make some wonderful advancements. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. This week, we have got a very active Pluto in the sky, and this Pluto is moving through a financial part of your sky. So we've got some really nice career progress and energy happening that really allows you to move towards greater wealth in a way that feels like you're really achieving something, like good things are happening, you are advancing, you're moving on up in the world, and this is going to help you, especially in the bigger picture, to create greater prosperity, greater wealth all around. This is a really good week for interviews of any kind, right, of impressing bosses. This is a really good week for you to think about those bigger goals and how it is that you can work towards what is meaningful for you and have lasting results, and powerful results at that. So whether they're personal goals, whether they're career goals, whether they have to do with fulfilling your life purpose and getting clear on that, all of that is coming together in some wonderful ways for you this week. You might want to watch a little bit, maybe not get too flirty with the boss, because that is a possibility for a few of you out there. You might want to watch that, but for all that, there's such positive energy taking place all around in the career sphere. What I'm also seeing play out here that I think is really interesting is that the friendship part of your sky also is asking for some support, some resource. So it might be financial, and so this could be a time when a friend proposes that you get into business together, a friend asks for some money. All of this is possible now. So you are going to have to decide what feels right, which way it is that you want to go with it. Because ultimately, with this energy, it looks like there is some tension there. And so if you give from a place that feels really genuine, that feels really honest within you as well. Because if you feel that this person is, going to use this in ways, if you have a feeling about what they're trying to do, or if you feel that, okay, wow, this is like kind of taking advantage, honor that as well. I also think that for a few of you out there, it actually might be a little bit interesting because it might be that you hear from somebody you haven't heard from in a really long time, and you might have lent them some money or something a while back, and had to sort of sort through that, and now they're coming back for more. That type of situation is possible for a few of you out there as well. So again, whatever feels right to you in your soul, whatever feels comfortable for you is always the way to go. I mean, Sagittarius do need to listen within. It is one of the more like independent signs, if you will, out there. One of the more intuitive signs as well out there. So as long as you're honoring that intuition, all is right in your world. Also, don't let anybody like sort of pressure you into having to provide, having to give support where it doesn't feel right for you to do that, because there actually might be a little bit of guilt tripping happening there. So just let it be. You don't have to participate. That's the thing, right? It is always your choice. Any kind of dynamic involves two people. It is your choice whether or not you're going to participate. If you choose not to, it's a non-issue. And this is something, again, that I think Sagittarius out there, they know, they understand this, especially on intuitive levels, on innate levels, you get this. Where it comes to love, I did mention a little bit, just playfully, some joy, right, taking place around career matters, which is all nice and good. What I do like about the romance energy playing out this week is that it is very big picture. It is really looking at, okay, what are we building? What am I building with this person? And there is this perspective of how this person is going to fit into a bigger picture of your life. So this might actually be a time when you start connecting with, communicating with a significant other, someone that you might have a commitment with, or just someone you've been getting to know for a little while, and looking at ways in which the two of you could do something together to create greater prosperity for both of you. So there might be a little bit of that happening, or it might just be bouncing ideas off of that person that you're getting to know, or that person you're in a committed relationship with, as part of figuring out what it is that you want to do, how it is that you want to create greater prosperity for yourself. Also, those of you who are open to meeting somebody new, with a sky like this, go for gold. And what I mean by that is, do what you want, make yourself happy, go for those big achievements, go for those big goals, go for those interviews, say that you want that promotion, have that confidence, make it very clear. It is in that process that you end up being that much more beautiful, and especially to those around you as well. They'll see you as that much more beautiful as you go for the things that you truly desire to experience, to have, and to be in your life. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week we have got lots of energy being sent to Pluto in your sign. So if you were born right around the 7th, 8th of the month, or 3 days within that span, you will be feeling this energy more than most. But all Capricorns out there should be noticing a shift, a change, possibility, and a real sense that meaningful change, profound change is possible to you, and it certainly is. Venus is speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto from fellow Earth sign Virgo. This to me is all about a vision opening up to you. This to me is all about you getting a much clearer understanding of what you've got to do if you're going to advance your life, achieve those bigger goals for your life as well. But also if you are going to incorporate adventure and joy and possibility. So this can be a really exciting time. This can be a time of lots of new ideas and a very creative time as well. These ideas really have the potential to build a lot of income for you in the future, steadily, slowly but surely, and to create very meaningful change that leads to greater wealth as well. So lots of positive energy there. It also does look like if you are traveling this week, and in matters of love, if you are open to meeting somebody new, or you're dating somebody, it does look like love might very well be part of the adventure that you go on, whether that adventure just lasts a day, you know, trying some new things, whether it involves actually taking a trip. It does look like in some way you are being more open to the world, and that is changing you in ways, bringing in new stimuli, bringing in new ideas very much to your liking. We also have an interesting conversation playing out between Mercury and Pluto as well. Now Mercury right now is at the very top of your sky, has been there for quite a few weeks, in shadow, then retrograde, and now next week we'll finish shadow as well. So this particular conversation says to me that this is very likely to play out in realms of bosses or authority figures. This also might work out in interview situations, evaluation situations. But to me, when I look at this, it's going to be easy to misinterpret things. So you want to be mindful of that. And what I'm really seeing is that there's somebody who believes that you have greater potential, right? So they want you to live up to a higher potential that they see in you. And that's awesome. And so in the process of telling you that, they may be pointing out areas of improvement ahead of actually pointing out and growing on the things that are really awesome about what it is that you are doing. So you are going to have to take that moment because there might be a little bit of a reaction. There might be a little bit of a surprise. This is only for a small percentage of you, but if you do find yourself in that moment, the better, instead of like sort of reacting and going into a place of sort of an automatic reaction, it's better if you just take a little bit of a moment, because I do think that in the moment you might interpret it one way, but once you are not in that moment, you might see what actually was taking place, that actually it's somebody who does want to see you do more, shine more, who believes that they're doing something, saying something that is to your advantage. Now, whether or not it is up to you. And if you decide to talk about it after the fact, that's also up to you. But if you react in the moment, there's just such a strong possibility of being in the moment, saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. A much better strategy is to just go, okay, and then figure out what it is, what meaning it is that you're going to give that. And if that means reapproaching that person, if that means asking for clarity, if that means saying, you know, you said that, and that could be interpreted this way, and I actually think this, and I think I'm really awesome in these ways. If that's what your situation is asking for, then that's great. But ultimately, it does look like the dominant energy for you is going to be surrounding an opening of possibilities for you. So there is wisdom in whatever it is that transpires. Either it'll get you considering new options, either it'll bring you even greater opportunities. There's also the chance, if you're interviewing for a new job, there is the chance that you might misinterpret. You might think that, oh, that was a rough interview, that I'm not going to get that job, and then you actually do. So that kind of situation also might play out. So where it comes to relationships, as I said, if you're getting to know somebody, if you're wanting to meet somebody, it's very much an adventure. It's very much as you are opening to the world, experimenting with new things, new experiences, that love is more likely to come to you. And if you're in an established bond, sharing those experiences together actually will make that bond that much stronger. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. This week we've got Venus moving through a part of the sky that has to do with building wealth, real money. Speaking with Pluto. Pluto, now that planet does represent many things, does represent wealth as well. And is also the modern ruling planet of the part of the sky for you that has to do with career, with legacy, with greater achievement and accomplishment as well. So right about now, you really want to pay attention to the ideas, the motivation, the stimulation that is finding you, because this is a time that can lead to greater wealth, really great ideas that do create abundance for you, emotional and practical abundance as well, and allow you to move towards a greater sense of achievement and accomplishment. Now, there's going to be a part of you that I think some of these ideas might come forward like in the dream space, okay? In very private moments, in moments of having your guard down, connecting to something, if you want to call it higher, if you want to call it more wise within yourself. It is in those moments when your guard is down that some of the best ideas are going to come forward. And if anybody should be practicing visualization for what you want, this would be the time, but make it more like an active visualization as a way of being open to new ideas as well. So it isn't just about you saying, universe, I want this, but you're saying, okay, this is the starting point. What could this be? How could this be greater? How could this help more? For some of you, this is going to be, for a lot of you, I think this is going to be a personal process. And so, again, it could be emotional sense of prosperity, really feeling close to another person, feeling that deep sense of support and love from another person, but also financial as well. There is that energy there. So this can manifest in both ways or one way over the other. But your real opportunity here is to stumble onto something that really has a lot of potential to empower you, to change things for the better, and to really now take advantage of some of the gains and really see how you're better. Now that Saturn is no longer in that career part of the sky, this is about taking that next step. This is about going even bigger. This is about seeing how the things that you did put into place from late 2012 up until very recently can continue to pay off, and that you actually have built something, you've shown something, and now here comes some progress. Here comes a new way of looking at things. Here comes a new way of growing as well. Where it comes to matters of love, we are going to have Mercury speaking with this Pluto as well. So Mercury speaking with this Pluto, this does suggest to me now, look, I really do like this Venus speaking with Pluto, because for those of you in an established bond especially, I think that is going to be the dominant energy. If you're in an established bond, you are feeling that much closer, that much more intimate, that much more of a strengthening of the bond is taking place. For a small number of you, it might be that you realize what needs to end. It might not be what you think. Maybe for a small percentage of you, it might be, okay, this relationship should end. But I think for a lot of you out there, it actually is going to be like my attitude about this, or my demand that this person be this way. That needs to evolve, that needs to change. I need to practice greater acceptance as part of learning about myself through love. That might also be part of the journey. So stay open to your lessons, but I definitely think that is going to be the dominant energy. And especially if you are wanting to do something with your partner to make more money. Also, in addition to that, your partner might just be more richer. This can also be a time when your partner has good news, good financial news from them, ends up benefiting you as well. Where we have some interesting energy with that Mercury and Pluto, this to me speaks to those of you open to meeting somebody new or just in the beginning stages of getting to know somebody. This to me says that, you know, I actually think that for some of you out there, this is going to play out in interesting ways. It might be that someone, maybe it's a flirtation, you know, maybe there's some energy there or whatever, or maybe you're getting to know this person, you know, like they say, there's certain topics you shouldn't talk about, right? But if you really want to know if this person is right for you, there comes a point where you want to share values, right? Some core values need to be the same. A lot don't, right? A lot don't. That difference is mutual respecting of that difference is awesome. But there are certain fundamentals that a lot of people have. And this is going to be that chance for you to see what the bottom line is for a particular person. Again, you might just meet this person this week and be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. That's what you believe? Awesome, good for you. I'm gonna go over there now. For some of you, this might actually, as you're getting to know somebody also, like being a little bit surprised. Oh, okay, like that's your worldview. That's how you look at things. Those are your most important values. So this is actually good because it ultimately helps you to clarify what really matters to you, and that is the point of this, to help you to clarify what it is that truly is going to matter to you. In other news, if you will, for a small percentage of you out there also, this could connect to immigration issues, okay? Citizenship, long distance travel as well. There might just be something that you're overlooking or something that you might forget. It might just be that simple, like you take a trip and you forget something, possibly a medication or something very fundamental, something related to your work as well. So if that is the case, you just want to be mindful of that, to go over it a little bit more thoroughly. Maybe make a list, okay, to sort of make sure that you cover all the bases. For others of you, you know, again, some communication might come through and it leads to more questions, it leads to uncertainty, but you've got this very quiet, strong support still playing out for you. So this does tell me that if any issue does come up, it is part of moving towards a resolution. And this is Pluto after all. Pluto, the big lesson with Pluto is surrender. Trust your fate. That is a big lesson with Pluto. And a big lesson is with Pluto, and especially where it comes to matters of travel and immigration, really, you are not going to be anywhere that you are not supposed to be, okay? So wherever it is that you are today is where you're meant to be. I've really come to understand this where it comes to travel, where it comes to being in other places. There is a real need to surrender, to see what it is that the universe has planned for you and where it is that the universe desires you to go. That could end up falling into place for you really nicely. But if you happen to get some, you know, information or a letter or some message that leads to more questions, let that be okay. Let it be okay. Okay, yeah, there's some questions, there's more paperwork, there's, you know, we might have to do this, I might have to go in this direction, and that's okay. Things will fall into place for you really nicely. There's lots of cosmic support, and it will only grow towards creating very meaningful change for you. So roll with it. As so much of life, really, when you roll with it, you really open up that many more opportunities for yourself. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week, we have got some active energy in your opposite sign, really good for romance, okay? So we're gonna start off with love. We have got Venus in your opposite sign speaking powerfully with Pluto. To me, this is great regardless of the relationship status you're in right now. If you're in an established bond, this is really great for solidifying that, feeling a deep sense of commitment, a deep sense of passion and connection to this person, seeing how it's no accident that you're with this person as well. If you are getting to know somebody, this is also getting to know them on a much deeper level, on a heart and soul kind of level. And those of you who are open to meeting someone new, this can certainly be a time when you meet someone who is a very strong contender. And that energy is actually going to continue into next week as well. So anyone that you do meet this week, I would, really sort of have your awareness up, have your antenna up. And if you're open to meeting somebody new, do be out and about, do interact with people, especially as a Pisces, okay? As a Pisces, you've got Pluto right now in a part of the sky that has to do with friendship. You've got Venus in your opposite sign as well. So you are one of those signs that you and Taurus, really, those are the two signs that would do well with having a friend set you up on a blind date, okay? And especially as you move towards the later part of the week. So in the later part of the week, if a friend, has that inspiration, or if you have the inspiration to ask, actually a very powerful connection, a very powerful seed could be planted that leads to a very strong connection that has a lot of potential to last a very long time. Now, this particular energy also includes business partnerships as well. So if someone comes to you and says, hey, I met this person and I really think you should connect with them. They are doing work that I think you would resonate with. If a situation like that does come up, you might want to follow up on it. You've got lots of cosmic support for making advancement, for making good things happen. The place that you want to be a little bit wary is where it comes to mixing friends and money, okay? Mixing friends and money, not the best bet this week. So you and Sagittarius, don't mix friends with money. And particularly given that it's really, for you, it's going to be more about like investment, right? So if a friend asks you for to invest a certain amount, that they'll pay you back with interest, that should really like sort of make you go, okay, interest, yeah, no. But also if you get a stock tip or some advice where it comes to investing or building wealth, this is a time when you might want to just leave it to the side for now. Now, I will be honest with you, this could, for the few of you out there who experience this energy, it could actually create some tension. So you have to look at how good a friend is this, how long have they been in your life, how have they been in the past. You'll have to take all of that into account. But it looks like whatever it is that comes up, it's not going to be like the last time, okay? Like it looks like a friend might come to you now and say, about an investment, and then they'll come to you again like next week about like actually like just putting some money together. So you should be mindful and stay mindful. Ultimately, money is a symbol of energy, right? And it's a symbol of the energy that you give to the value of what it is that you're putting into the world. So my advice would be, if you look at it like that and look at the energy that this person has brought into your life, then that will help you balance out and figure out the right decision for you to make in this case. So just be mindful. Money and friends might not mix so well, and yet you have to take each circumstance individually and allow it to unfold as it needs to. I will stop there. Thank you so much to everyone out there. Again, if you're in Mexico City, I'd love to meet you. So that would be wonderful to connect with you in Mexico City. I'm wishing you all, and it will be a great week. It will be a great week. Enjoy.